listen, I've been excited to actually welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah.
And I'm very excited about this because I drive past this almost every day, and I keep saying, why haven't we done that yet? It's literally right next door.
It's silly.
But Charlie's Market and Deli on the hill.
Oh, yeah.
Which is Charlie Imo.
I'll tell you.
Yeah. Now, what is the backstory there? Why is there a Charlie Imo, and it has nothing to do with emos, although there's a connection? But
I think it has everything to do with emos, and I'm going to make this up. Because I don't know if this is true.
No, that's the best.
Know.
That's the best kind of information.
It's not much.
Here's my interpretation of it.
Market, though.
I think that Charlie Imo was maybe one of the original emos. At some point, they sold it or something like that, and he was no longer a part of what we now see as emos, but wanted to get back in the game, so started Charlie.
But there's no market. If you go in there, there's maybe 5 jars of stuff.
But is that correct?
So it's really
was he
more
the original
of
emo?
I don't know.
I'm not Italian. Or maybe he was a family member.
To know that?
Oh, this Italian. Let me tell you.
But one thing interesting about Charlie Imo's is that the pizza they have there is not the pizza served currently at Imo's. They are using the original Imo's pizza recipe.
Oh, well, here.
At least that's what somebody
Vicky
worked
just
there
handed me. And our very own Vicky Sparks filling in.
It looks like there's a story on the back.
Yeah, she's filling in for, Jen Bug today, who normally is in here as
Who called them? What were those texts
producer
about?
here.
Don't worry about it.
Wait, we now have the story.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, there's nothing on here. This is more of a commitment to quality.
Never mind.
They do have a commitment to quality.
I'm hungry. Let's talk about this over a sandwich.
Let's talk over a sandwich. Now, tell me which one we're going to start with, and I'll read the description on it.
You know what? Since I rewrap them in tinfoil to heat them, you never know what we're starting with.
Okay, well, I do. I know on the list, we're going to be talking hot roast beef today. We're going to be talking Italian meatballs. We're going to be talking Italian poor boy, I think, is on the list. Pretty confident. Well, I don't know what else we had on there. What else did we have? It's right in front of you on that yellow piece of paper. We had roast beef, Italian, meatballs.
Oh, the Italian is a cold sandwich.
Where are these from? Charlie's?
Charlie's on the hill. Charlie's Market on the hill.
Just right.
No, I know just where it is.
Did we get their sausage? Because it says it's famous.
We did.
Oh, okay, good. Thank God. Because whenever they stick the word famous in front of something, I feel like we have an obligation to try
roast
it.
beef, Italian poor boy, which is, an Italian.
That looks
we got
very
the meatball, we got the salsiccia, and we got, for you two, I actually got the buffalo chicken sandwich.
You know what? Thank you.
What would be something famous at Brown and Crouppen? If we wanted to push one thing, what would it be?
Oh, look at this.
What
I think we're
famous?
starting with the meatball.
Well, then that's a really good place to start.
Maybe that's,
what would the home of the famous?
What?
Steve?
What would it be?
No, you ain't famous enough yet.
Maybe our legal work.
But don't. I mean, the legal work, yes. But I'm trying to think that the most famous thing we've done is. I mean, it's probably just this man right here.
Well,
the Slam Stan, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. But that's really just
and
one facet of this man's body of work.
I am working.
Oh boy.
On a Super Bowl. Or a holiday ad. Andy thought a holiday ad.
Okay.
I did?
I heard about that. I don't want to know if we're going to get into it here, but I heard that you called one of our old reliable producers.
I did. I just, as a matter of fact, on my way up here, he sent me a text. I called him and sent him a copy of what I had thought.
Yeah.
And he sent me over the weekend a text message saying he has worked on my idea and has come up with what he describes as the greatest ad that... Let me read the...
Oh, my God. And while you're pulling that out of your pocket, let me just show this before I bite into it. It's a beautiful-looking meatball sandwich, and you notice they slice their meatballs in half.
I did. I was going to tell you that.
I think it's a great move. I mean, it's very similar to how Adriana serves them flat.
Otherwise,
it just gives you better coverage, and they don't roll off.
Right, that Folks, on top of spaghetti thing going.
Exactly. This isn't rocket science.
All right. Terry, you going to bite in?
I will in a second. I'm just looking at
It's a nice
this.
heavy meatball.
That's nice.
I like a little wetter sandwich, but that's good.
I don't like them too wet. They're too hard to eat.
I like them sloppy.
But I like that nothing fell off. I like that there's a reasonable amount of cheese.
Yeah.
But
not
a meatball,
overwhelming.
Well, a meatball should be meat. The cheese should be a complement to the meat. It shouldn't be an equal partner.
It's a good sandwich.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
But what does Scott say?
Oh, let me read you the email. I won't fully identify him. I don't even say Scott is a code name. Let me say.
Yeah. His real name is Scott.
Terry, I never got an email with anything. Oh, no, that's not. No. I have mapped out the most perfect commercial that you will ever make in the history of St. Louis television. I would love to walk you through it.
Wow.
All right.
I mean, that's a bold statement.
That's a bold statement.
That is.
I wonder, while we have the public here, all 10 of them, if you have any really good commercial ideas, I would love to hear what the public thinks they want to actually hear. What would speak to them? I mean, I feel like we do the best we can, and a lot of it's guessing and trying and experimentation. But if you do have any ideas, 612, all fours, 444 4444, but you got to do 612.
I think Joe Bornstein at one point did a contest, and he had the public with a prize produce commercials, and whoever produced the best commercial, I think he used it, and they won a prize.
Let's do it.
I think it'll be fun.
Why not? I mean, even if it's a commercial like for TikTok purposes, I think anybody with a phone out there could probably come up with something that would maybe be
I agree with you.
Clever.
Here,
I think we should do this more formally. Is any of that mine? Is there a sandwich that's mine?
These little, I think side dishes are the most overlooked.
Here you go. You got some side dishes right there.
Now let me ask you.
I'm just saying, usually side dishes.
You got some potato salad and some.
Thing.
If you had to make a
tortellini
list
salad
of your favorite side dishes, the ones that you wish every restaurant had, what's on your list? I know you're a big rice fan.
I am. But,
French fries.
French fries, yeah.
On casual food certainly has to be the top of the list.
I mean, they overwhelm every other side dish to the point that most people don't even try.
Unless you're at a fancy dinner, you don't always want fries.
You know what? I don't think I've ever been in a situation in my life where I thought a fry would be inappropriate.
Yeah, that's true.
I love fries. I love them. The worst ones I love. I don't love them as much as the best ones, but I love them.
That's actually a really good.
Who has the best French fries in St. Louis?
Who has good fries? Depends on the kind of fry you like. I do like the fries at Carl's when we go there, Carl's Drive-In.
Yeah.
Where do you get a good truffle fry?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I'm embarrassed to say, because I've been so stringent with my food.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had French fries on a regular basis in a couple of years.
Huh. I don't have.
What am I doing
often.
To myself?
You know what? The most
I feel like I'm ruining my life.
Most of the French fries I eat are because my kids got them.
I know, but let's just reflect on my life for a minute.
Yeah. Well,
what have I done?
It's like all work and no play makes Ed a dull boy.
I know. What was I thinking?
What you should be thinking is, why haven't I taken a bite of that Italian
I'm going to take a bite of the Italian and let you know how this is. Good. But while I'm doing this, I would like to hear from the public, too. Was I better off just being a big fat guy but enjoying his French fries? Or am I better off in the long run being thin, enjoying sandwiches when we do the podcast, and mostly living a life of deprivation otherwise?
I don't think you can answer that, because I think there is an argument for both.
I think you could have both.
You can't be fat and thin.
No, you can be thin and you can eat French fries.
Oh, yes, but it's yes.
Yes.
But I think I think it's a slippery slope. But is the concern.
It is a slippery. I mean, at least it has been for me, because I have a hard time finding that comfortable middle ground. Of some reason, I can do it on the podcast. I can sit here, eat 5 different sandwiches, and not think twice about the fact that they're not healthy or they are healthy or what it might do. And the second the podcast is over, and I have to, because it is, right? I'm slipping into character.
That's right.
But in real life, I'm living in a state of deprivation. Now, that said, this is a phenomenal Italian combo. Let's just talk for a minute about what's on here.
Yeah, it's exactly what you want.
Yes, this is you got ham, you got capicola, gabagool, right? Same thing, mortadella, Volpe salami, cheese. I like how it just says cheese too. I'm guessing that's Provel or provolone.
Probably.
You got lettuce, tomato, pepperoncini. And you know what? This is the key thing. It's the house balsamic vinaigrette.
Yeah, it's good. You know, you don't hear that here in St. Louis. That's a real New York Italian thing. Capicola. I think they'll call it cappy here and stuff. But in New York, it's gabagool.
Gabagool.
I don't know where that comes from.
You know, I don't know, but one of the funniest episodes of The Office has got Michael having no idea what it is, but insisting on ordering it because he happens to be in an Italian place. And is with like a guy who he thinks is a mob guy. The guy's really just an insurance salesman. Isn't that funny stuff? Okay.
What's squingili? I feel like that's another New York Italian thing.
I don't know.
Give me that squingili.
You know, you wonder, it sounds like a made-up word, so it could be something or it could be nothing.
But do you think it's all the same stuff, just different names?
It has to be. I mean, it's all just ground and processed meats in the most delightful manner.
No, it's not different names. It's like it's not spelled gabagool. It's still spelled the same way. It's the same word. It's just different weird regional pronunciations of things.
So you're thinking gabagool
is spelled C-A, yes, capicola.
Oh, that's hard to...
I know.
Yeah.
Look at bologna. Bologna is pronounced bologna, but it's not spelled bologna.
Well, and how would you spell mozzarella? You'd spell it Mozzerella.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
My mom's a big mozzarella. She doesn't say mozzarella.
Now, somebody over the weekend told me that Braunschweiger and chopped liver are very similar.
Very similar.
It makes sense that they would be, because Braunschweiger is just liverwurst.
Yeah, but I don't think they taste it.
Oh, you're gonna like this.
Well, you know, I wouldn't have the chopped liver when we did pretzels.
This must be the hot roast beef.
Strangely enough, I like a liverwurst sandwich. Because nobody ever told me it was liver. I know you would think I would have assumed that just because of the name, but as a kid,
no,
that it didn't dawn on me.
But it doesn't. I was just telling somebody. Like cheek.
Beef cheek?
You know how on some menus they put cheek?
Yeah.
That ruins it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to eat a cheek.
You just want beef.
I don't want to. Cheek is reminds me I'm eating a living thing. I don't want to see that.
I got a trivia question for you. Let's see if we can figure this one out. What animal is the most consumed animal for food by humans in the world, on the whole planet, not just the United States, the whole planet?
I would think chicken.
You're off mic. Terry's guess was chicken.
Chicken.
Do you want to take a moment to talk through that as to why that's your thinking?
Every culture eats chicken.
If you want a little dip, if you want to do the dip,
they're small.
I know you don't like
guess
a French
easy
dip.
I think it makes sense. Maybe wrong.
I will say this: it's not correct, but if it makes you feel better, chicken had been my guess as well.
But you're talking worldwide?
Yeah, because here was my thinking. I thought, you know what, there are some very large populations that do not eat pork. So I took pig out. And then I said there are very large populations that do not eat beef because they worship the cow. So I took beef out. And upon taking those two big ones out,
it's got to be goat.
I thought chicken. Goat, I
Not
looked
fish?
up, goat accounts for 5% of the meat consumed in the world. I think goats are small.
It just comes down to China and India.
You would think. But as it turns out,
Yeah?
well, it does come down to China and India.
Everything does.
But
With things like
the
this.
most commonly consumed meat in the world is pork. Even with the restrictions in the Muslim population and the Jewish population, but when you put together the use in Asia and in China and India, plus the United States,
Well, China is a very pork-heavy nation.
Yeah.
Beef for most of the population of India is sacred.
It's sacred. Yeah.
What
makes
is
a lot of
the
sense.
population of the world?
About 8 billion.
Okay.
And I would say 3 of those come from China and India.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I think actually even more.
Yeah, I mean, no, because that would be half the world.
I think they're half the world now.
Just the 2 countries?
I think so. Check the latest. Well, just the 2 continents, just the one continent.
So if that's what you're saying,
Ooh, this is a hot roast beef.
We need to get
then what you're saying,
a fact
there are
checker.
4 people in this room, and if 5 out of every 10 people are Chinese or Indian, which 2 of us is it?
Well, I might be one of them. You got me wondering now.
Keeping my eyes open.
Well, but you also have
Okay,
3 other
then it's not you.
members of the group of a very small group.
Jews?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question for Andy.
Hold on. I really love that roast beef sandwich.
Phenomenal roast beef sandwich. I'm glad you. So far,
you dip?
Of the 3 sandwiches, no, I got a dip. Of the 3 sandwiches, the hot roast beef is actually my favorite so far.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I just because it's hot, the beef tastes perfect.
Man, I'm glad I
I'll
already.
tell you.
It's not stringy.
a
It's not
dipping
fatty.
after a bite, huh?
This is a little place.
You could pour a little onto your
I'm
plate.
sorry,
or
I
something.
thought this was my own.
No.
No, they
It's up
just
to you,
give you
but
the
I'm
one
done.
sauce, but that's all good. Here's my question.
Yeah.
Now, this came up. We had our holiday party last week or the week before on Friday. It was a delight.
It was great.
And, you know, as we do every year, you know, we get up and we give out some service awards. And while we were doing it this year, Terry got very emotional, you know, as he often does.
Yeah.
When he speaks.
Blubbering mess.
And it's, well, he wasn't blubbering, but he was definitely, he was choked up. There were some tears. And everyone felt it in a good way. You know, I think people like that. I think when the emotion is sincere, it's a contagious
An overweight,
energy.
older human being, male, breaks everybody's heart when they cry.
Yeah, you know, I think
you can
it
rid
goes
yourself
beyond that.
of the adjectives. I think anyone crying.
Yeah, if there's a
But it's more
sincerity,
so. Yeah, so when
it can be contagious.
An old man crying.
Yeah.
When they're overweight, I'm telling you.
Well, you think the weight helps?
There's
Little
not
mustard on their shirt.
You know,
not
it just takes it to the
there's
next level.
not a dry eye.
But here's my question to you, Andy, because I've noticed as I've gotten older, I cry way more easily. Things will get to me, touching videos, more sentimental tears than sad tears. Yeah. Terry seems like he accesses his emotions very easily.
Easy.
But I've known you over 20 years, and this is not an insult. I'm legitimately curious. I've never once seen you get emotional. You've never gotten choked up. I've never seen your eyes get glassy. I've been to funerals with you. I've been to weddings with you, your own wedding, parties. What taps into you? What triggers that part of you? What's most likely to get you welling up?
Welling. I'm not a crier, and I'm not a puker. For whatever reason, those things don't come out of my body. But I feel the emotion. I certainly feel emotional.
Talk about that a little bit, because I listen.
You know, talking about
I'm curious.
Ron being gone, talking about
come on.
You know, great things that happen with your. I mean, the same things. I think everyone reacts emotionally to mostly.
You are.
I don't get choked up at an AT&T commercial.
No, but I think you keep your emotions under control.
Not necessarily intentionally. Like, if I could cry, I'll cry. I would assume when you cry, it's like I equate them to puking. I feel like they are things that you can't necessarily control. Like, I feel like if you have to cry, you cry.
Right, but do you
can't
think,
stop it.
Well, I
if
know
you have to puke, you puke. You can't hold it in.
I know you think that way, but there are people that are so protected that they have parts of them, like in the reptile part of your brain, that will shut off or disconnect or detach before it allows yourself to get to something like that.
Control over your emotions.
Maybe.
In terms of being demonstrative.
Well, I would say this.
And I think it's more than most people.
Maybe so. I have no idea. I would say this. I would be far more likely to cry about something that makes me happy than something that makes me sad. I'm not. It's very infrequent that I am really upset about something.
I'm concerned for myself.
Yeah.
That at some point I'm going to be around you.
Yeah.
Where you do wind up crying.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to know what the hell to do. I feel like I'm not going to know how to be supportive and helpful. I'm going to be so surprised, and I'm going to assume something seismic has occurred to get to that point. I'm being serious. I'm not even being light about it.
Yeah.
These are things I think about.
Huh.
And I don't know. What have you found? I mean, Steph, has she noticed this? Has anybody else ever mentioned this to you over the years?
No, I mean, I don't think noticed. Yeah, sure.
When was the last time you cried?
Why?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. I
mean, can you pick? For you, I could say it was last Friday.
No.
It wasn't that hard.
No, I cry now much more than I ever did. And it can be about if I play the song The Christmas Shoes,
I know.
I will cry.
I would say maybe the closest. I wouldn't say closest. I certainly didn't cry, but maybe more choked up was one of my daughters was really struggling for a while, and it was a little alarming at times, and that was upsetting in a way that I think maybe what now I'm realizing would be a normal person would cry. But I don't know. Things don't get me that upset. I really think it would be more something that is more, I don't know if tears of joy is the right word, but something that a feel good, like, the underdog.
Right. That's what tends to make me cry.
Yeah.
I cry very, very easily. And I mean, if I'm watching TikTok, it could be, kids getting a puppy who desperately wanted a puppy. They didn't get a puppy.
So that'll hit me.
But that will hit me in an instant. Or that guy on was it American Idol that sang Monsters after his father had passed away, and then he did it with James Blunt as a duet. If you ever go, there's a million reaction videos on TikTok of people watching this. I would love to record. I don't know if you've ever seen it, if you're familiar with it. Like, that's something I'd like to have a camera on you. I've not met anybody yet who can get through that without crying.
I'd be shocked if I did, but I'm happy to do
it. We'll have to film that on another day
I'd
and
be
then
happy
show
to
it.
cry if I could cry.
I
really wouldn't feel. I think it's a very human thing. In fact, I'd much rather cry than puke right here.
I would much rather you cry than puke here as well.
Puking. When I say I don't puke, it's weird. None of my family does.
Does this make you want to puke? If you see somebody throw up?
Nope, nothing. I have not.
Even you saying that,
know,
I can't finish this. That's how
I don't know if I've thrown up in the last 30 years.
Wow.
I probably have not.
That's
kids,
impressive.
And kids tend to puke. I don't know if either of them have ever thrown up more than twice. The baby's 2.5 and has never thrown up.
Have you fed them?
Yes.
The last time I heard this,
we're all going to puke tonight.
I was with a friend, my dear friend Richard Klein from Kansas City. We were in Florida, and we went out, and we had like all you could eat crab or lobster, one of the two. And he said, I don't feel good. I said, oh. I said, listen, we're sitting in the living room, which is like a very nicely furnished room. And I said, why don't we go into the bathroom? Because if you feel like you're going to throw up, you don't want to throw up on all this nice furniture.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We go into the bathroom, and he's telling me, I don't know why we're in the bathroom. I said, because you're going to wreck some furniture if you throw up on it. And he says, I haven't thrown up
at the sandwich
in 35 years. I said, well, that's a long time. He says, I've only thrown up once that I could ever remember.
Wow.
As he's telling me about this, as if a fire hose had been attached to his mouth.
I remember that.
A stream of vomit comes out of his mouth that's maybe 8 inches across.
Oh my God.
And it doesn't
Like in the
stop.
movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
the way penguins shit at the zoo.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's
a wider strand.
I've never watched the penguin shit at the zoo. Now I feel like I have to.
Oh, they really, they can.
No, well, this is coming out of his mouth, obviously.
Yeah. As vomit tends to.
But and I don't know what to do. Finally, I have to, he's sick, obviously. I have to then clean up the whole room, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
And he that whole room?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
He was the only person. What was he
guy
going to
do?
So Rich gets better. Rich is a wealthy guy. He could have hired somebody.
I know.
You hear that, people? Terry Crouppen, you think he's sitting in some castle somewhere when his best friend throws up? When his best friend throws up, he does like what everybody does.
He sits in his...
He grabs every towel in the house.
Wait. I was going to do this in a... what's his name? Sean Connery book.
And then let's move on, because I've got a very wet sandwich to present
in his
to
castle.
That's it.
Yes, Miss Moneypenny.
That's it.
Wow, you're turning into Ron Brown.
No, do you do any? You do. Do you do any imitations?
Suddenly you must do something.
Yes, Miss
I'm sure I
Moneypenny.
do. I'm trying to think who I can imitate.
I could tell you who you can imitate. Somebody crying.
No, I could imitate that.
Can you though?
I don't know if that's a bad thing or a good thing. I have to say this.
I think I could convince you that I am crying.
Off the top of my head, I think it's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing.
I don't see how it could be a good thing.
It's not good.
Well,
I
don't know.
Either you're holding an emotion, or you're a sociopath.
And it could be a little of both.
Well, I don't say it as an insult. I'm just saying it as a
no. Most people
diagnosis.
are calling them sociopaths. They
But I mean it
think
in the
of
literal.
You forever.
No, but I mean I didn't say it was a
Remember
psychopath.
that nice Ed Herm?
It's a difference between a sociopath and a psychopath.
I think that pretty much
because
the same thing.
I don't not feel
You're
emotion for things and
very
people.
much. I mean, I'm your father. I've known you since
Haven't seen
before
any proof
you
of
knew
it.
you,
Yes.
and you're very in control of your emotions. Now, I'm not saying why, or
I don't know if I'd describe it that way.
Well, I know from an outsider, because I'm not in your head, but it seems like you do not demonstrate, you do not show real. I've seen you get angry. Let's see, what else?
I've never really seen you overly enthusiastically happy either, though.
Oh.
Do you let yourself go there?
Yeah, for sure.
When was the last time you felt what we would call ecstatic?
Ecstatic?
Yeah, like really happy. Like couldn't get the smile off your face happy.
Oh, I'm sure it happens daily with one of the kids. I mean, when you have a 2.5-year-old, that happens all day.
They are a natural show.
Yeah, I mean that's all. Yeah, I mean stuff like that is always.
Yeah.
I mean, as an adult, especially as an adult of privilege, which I will acknowledge that I am, I think one of the downsides of that is some of the ecstatic, the emotions of ecstatic nature.
With emotions?
I don't think it's of ecstasy.
Would it be ecstasy?
No, I don't think
in
so.
other words,
I thought
when
about
you're
that.
ecstatic,
Right, that's a sense of ecstasy.
No.
They have the same root.
Is it a?
I know they have the same root, but I think that at a minimum, colloquially,
ecstasy
they would
is
be
more
different.
of a sexual thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I would say that in that situation, I think it takes away that often feeling ecstatic about things because you're spoiled.
Yeah.
And you spoil yourself.
Now, here's where there's a sharp contrast between us. I have that bird feeder. I talked about it last week. I decided to start filling it up with some peanuts to see if I could attract some squirrels. And let me tell you, I have attracted the squirrels. They're freaking adorable. And all day long, when they go to eat those little peanuts and the videos pop up on my phone, I'm ecstatic.
Well, I'll tell you what I was ecstatic about. The new Kendrick Lamar album, I think, is one of the best albums to come out in the last 20 years. Music, I think, often makes me feel.
Who's Kendrick Lamar? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not. I know the name, of course. But what is the name of the album?
GNX.
When did this come out?
Which is, there was a Buick Grand National that came out in the 80s that was like sort of a muscle car in the 80s. a fast Buick sedan, and then the
what?
GNX, it was the Buick Grand National, but then the GNX was like a limited version of this, and I guess he always wanted one.
What did I have? I had a Grand Sport.
Yeah, that was a little different model.
No, but that was like a no. What was
No,
the
you had a
Pontiac?
Pontiac Bonneville.
No, I didn't.
No?
No.
I think you did
Neil
have a
Lazaroff
Pontiac.
had a, no. The sport version was the GTO,
Yeah, you had
which
one
was
of
the
those?
most famous one.
I think you did have a Pontiac
was a
Bonneville.
Pontiac-
What does the O stand for in GTO? I know the GT, but what's the O?
Gran Turismo.
Yeah, that's the GT.
Oh,
that part I know.
Like the Pontiac, or what was
Well,
the
all
GTO?
of the O's. All the GTs are Gran Turismo or Gran Touring, but what does the O in GTO stand for?
I think it's mostly GT.
Well, it's mostly
Wait a
GT,
second,
but there
wait,
is a
wait.
GTO, and I don't know what the O stands for.
There used
There was
to
the
be
Pontiac GTO.
The Pontiac
That was a famous muscle
GTO
car.
was was the popular one because they had a song, the GTO. Then there was the the Oldsmobile 442 was the Oldsmobile muscle car, and then much less popular, which is the reason I got it, was the Buick Grand Sport.
But I
Okay,
think
we
you
got an
had
answer to the question.
a Pontiac Bonneville.
No, Pontiac was a different.
Listen to me.
How do you pronounce it? Omologato?
sorry.
It's Omologato. It's a Gran Turismo Omologato.
So,
And it means it's approved.
Okay.
So Grand Touring approved.
okay. You, I believe, had a Buick, or what was it? A Pontiac Bonneville. Pontiac Bonneville. Wasn't that the car that you lost reverse in?
No, that was the Grand Sport.
Was it?
Yeah.
Do you need reverse?
Yes, actually.
As it turns out, it's
As
more
a
important than
person
you would
who
realize.
lived, I would, because if you park if you park behind somebody, then you're there until they move.
Until they move.
Yeah,
Or
which
you could put it in neutral and kind of scoot yourself.
no.
All right, listen, this
It
is
was
why
a-
I asked the question.
it was a-
We
think the
didn't
last one's
talk,
the poor
about
boy.
the last sandwich was the
Buffalo
buffalo
chicken.
chicken. It was not fried as I thought it was. I assumed it would be.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Yeah, good taste
Very
and flavor.
wet, which I liked.
Sadly,
Hard to
I
eat.
ate some of the chicken off of it to gauge the taste. It was delicious. I can't consume any more bread. I'm gonna, to your earlier point,
getting
I'm gonna
hard.
pull a Rich Klein, and I'll
really?
just start throwing up all over the place. I'm
Really?
so full. It's so much food. I should do what Andy did. Andy was smart. He took a couple bites of each.
Yeah,
Because Andy, yeah, that's it. You're very much in control of your emotions, and I believe most likely in control of you. I think it's very important to you to be in control of across the board. And I'm not insulting you. I'm just saying
not taking it like that, no.
I definitely, there are other micro examples of that
yeah.
too. The fact that you enjoy driving a stick shift, which is a great thing to have, but I've noticed amongst people that I know in my life that still like to drive a stick shift, they fall into that category too, where there's that feeling of having that extra level of control over things.
I will say this. I think because if I would tell you why I like it, I think that would probably fit within that.
Well, why don't you save us the suspense?
So I'll tell you. There are a couple things. Number one, I feel like you're more engaged. I think it's, for me, safer.
It definitely is safer for you.
Because I think you're just
focus, because it keeps them
You're
focused.
focused. You're involved in driving. But I think the other thing is, because I've had the same car I have now in a automatic transmission version, and these cars have gotten so fast these days. And when I drive the version that is not a manual, you can floor it, and it is terrifying how quickly you are going a recklessly fast speed. And with the manual, you just can't do that. And you're conscious of every time you go to a higher gear, in your mind, you're like, okay, I'm going faster.
Can I
and
ask you?
so I really find
I
it
don't drive
a lot
stick,
safer. Yeah.
but the car that I drive does offer paddles if I want
Does
to.
does anybody use the
That
paddle?
was my
Yes,
question.
they
And
absolutely do.
Do you think is
I don't think many
using the
do.
paddles, is that a nice bridge toward driving a stick shift, or is it so
no.
different that
No.
it's not really doing anything good?
It's not, is it?
I gotta hear him because he's the stick shift.
But I've
driver.
driven
I will
a
say
stick
this.
shift.
I got the car with the paddles.
while.
And it's been so long since I've driven an automatic transmission.
Did you use
that-
the paddles?
I tried, but I just.
But nobody-
It takes some practice. People absolutely use them in
I
sports
think
cars.
some do.
People who buy, like, everyone who buys like exotic sports cars, fast cars, I think
don't they all have
them
stick shift?
No. Those
Like
almost
a
No,
Lamborghini.
No, does not make a manual transmission.
Really?
Has not for a long time. Neither does Ferrari.
They don't make it.
No, and in fact, Porsche does not.
You got a special order it, right? Or?
This year, the newest model of the 911 is not being offered in a manual transmission. Now,
I guess the technology just moves on.
Yeah, I can't remember technically why, but there were issues. I think it will again be offered in a manual. I think they just haven't introduced the models
don't think so.
this year.
I think, there are people that just like a manual transmission.
I do. I think it's
and I'm sure there are people that like to crank too, but eventually the technology passes you by.
Anyway, I just think it's terrifying. I think cars have gotten way too fast. I think it's horribly irresponsible. I think these electric cars that are also super heavy,
those accelerate.
It's really
fast.
terrible.
Let
and
me
so
ask you this: you know more about cars than I do, but I've been trying to get more into it. Have they made obviously they've made incredible improvements in acceleration.
Yeah.
Have we seen a comparable level of improvement when it comes to stopping distances?
Oh, I think that's the unsung hero in every fast car. Well, in every sports car. I don't know what the brakes in like a Tesla or an electric car, the saving grace is that they often use regenerative braking, which causes, like, if you ever drive one of those cars and you accelerate and you take your foot off the gas, it almost feels like you're on the brake because they're trying to capture that energy. So I think there's some friction. But in a lot of cars, in sports cars, I think the only reason they are able to go this fast safely is because the brakes are so good. In fact, if you notice in your car and you drive another car, the brakes are unbelievable. The brakes are really impressive.
Yeah.
Are the brakes great in a Tesla?
I think they must be.
I think they're good and normal, but I think the difference is you have the brakes. It's like, when you're driving in the mountains and they tell you to downshift because it lets the engine do the braking.
I haven't driven that.
But the theory, it's sort of like shifting into a lower gear in a manual transmission. The engine does some of the braking. And I think a Tesla, that regenerative braking, I think they create friction so that they can generate electricity.
I have driven a stick shift.
Yeah, I'm assuming.
I think
it's another story of another Rich Klein story.
In the Caribbean.
Recently?
Well, no, didn't you have to drive one? You were something happened. You were
I got
sick
a
or
kidney
something?
stone. Yeah, I don't know if that was stick shift. And I drove myself to the hospital.
Oh, back then it was because it was probably Rich's Porsche.
Maybe I don't know if
Rich would have had a stick shift back then.
And then but I've driven a stick shift fairly.
Oh, that's the sausage.
Often,
this looks very
good. Just when I'm like literally wanting to
on the
cry
islands
murder
in the Caribbean.
And now we're pulling out the famous sausage.
You know what the worst thing about it, the greatest fear, is that being on an upslope, stopped with somebody behind you, is to me, I don't know.
That is the biggest challenge of the stick shift.
Have they ever done anything?
Yeah, they absolutely have. Here, hand me your
What have they done?
They have, for a lot of modern cars, they have...
What, a brake? Like something?
Yeah, when you're on a hill, it just automatically brakes. It holds.
So you wouldn't
like hill.
So
stop
from the time you decide to move, the light changes and you get your feet in the right place.
It does not roll back.
Oh, it
holds it.
So what did you guys see on the latest on these drones?
We got to talk
I
about
saw
the
that
drones.
they have them now in San Diego and not just New Jersey. Did you hear about the San Diego drones?
But aren't they just drones?
But no, they're not just drones because there was footage that looked like one of them was shooting at something else.
Right, but I remember
I think a lot of that stuff is nonsense.
At night, you can do so many effects with lights. Like my son Sam told me that one shot the other down. And I said, if you have a powerful spotlight mounted on something and you turn it on, it looks like some sort of energy beam coming out. I have a big, heavy flashlight in Florida where you put it in the palm trees,
good.
it lights up the whole trees. I mean,
Yeah.
a big light at night looks incredible. So I don't see what everybody's making a big deal
So
out of.
here's what I think is accepted fact about the drones.
Okay, we'll see about that.
I think that what is accepted is that there are a lot of drones.
How many?
I mean, it's hard to say, but if you think about the area, they're being seen all around New Jersey, New York, that area. And if you're talking about the hundreds and hundreds of square miles that covers, for people all over to be seeing not one, not two, sometimes 3, 4, 5 at once.
Yeah, but honey,
There have to be a lot of them moving around. And
how many stores can you buy a drone at? If I would, I could buy 500.
No, you can't. You can't.
You don't think I could go out and buy 500?
Let me finish.
drones?
The next sentence will clear that
I
up.
don't think you'd spend the money.
A moment, hold on. These drones are the size of an SUV.
Some of them.
A lot of them, because otherwise, and they're flying low. The ones that so all of them are the size of an SUV. The ones that aren't are just idiots like you or me flying a drone. And I
Where
think
would you
there's a
even
lot
get a
of
drone the size of an SUV? The drones I've seen are a good
government.
stone. They fit in your
that.
hand.
The government.
Don't you think most people who are good with machinery,
Yeah.
you don't think they could? Somebody told me at the radio station, who was it? Somebody said at their radio station, they have a drone. Oh, no, it was a policeman. Said that they have a drone that comes and nests on top of the police station.
Yeah.
And it's 6 feet across. And it automatically, what I'm saying is, if there's a 6-foot drone, and I'm a technical kind of guy, I think I can make it into a 12-foot drone.
But let me ask you this.
No, not
Wait a
keeping
second.
it
I bet you-
airworthy.
Yeah,
But you're not
sure.
going to tell me that Elon Musk, who is now
Who has been curiously quiet about the
very
drones.
quiet, considering he's Mr. SpaceX. He's Mr. putting things up in the air.
Yeah.
He's on top of all modern technologies. He's now worth $400 billion and that's up close to $100 billion since last week when we had the podcast. So
Good
he
week.
basically made more in a week than, everyone's talking about the Juan Soto getting $765 million. That's nothing compared to increasing your net worth by $100 billion in a week. But because it's Juan Soto, who's actually working. Now, not to take anything away from Musk, but don't tell me with his resources, his money, and his vested interest in everything that's flying up into space.
Yeah.
How is it that he doesn't know? Because
course
there's
he
no
does.
way he
And-
doesn't know.
And
Of
his
course he
access to the
knows.
president. I mean,
He has to know.
Absolutely knows. And I think that. So let me say this: if we can accept that there are SUV-sized drones, and lots and lots and lots of them, probably hundreds of them, flying around Jersey at low altitude every night for a month, that is not a hobbyist. That is not a group of hobbyists getting together. The only place that can come from is a government.
For what
Well,
rea-
it
for
is
what
possible
reason?
people are shooting their drones up
But for what
to
reason?
try to figure out what's going on
That's
up
right.
there.
And a lot of people I've seen do that say that their battery died instantly, which who knows if that's true.
But to
But
what,
you got to keep
to
those
what
things
end?
charged,
Well,
folks.
that's the question. I mean, it's gotten to the point where I think it's happening. And so
I think
so
there are
you can
drones out
say
there.
to what end.
Yeah.
But I don't think when you see some of the pictures and hear some of the eyewitness accounts,
Yeah.
these are not things that are just buyable. They're traveling at low speed. They are
Which a drone will.
fixed wing. Well, not necessarily like
Sure they are.
fixed wing.
They're not doing anything.
Why
with-
are we not shooting them down?
How do you?
I'll tell you exactly why we're not shooting them down.
How would you shoot them down?
Well,
You know,
because they've seen
listen,
them
it's
over
not
the
for me
water.
to do it. You take a bazooka.
And what happens when the bazooka lands and you miss the drone and
That's
you're
not the
in
reason
middle?
we're not shooting them down.
I think
The
you
reason
don't
we are
shoot
not shooting them
military
down.
stuff in a civilian population.
I don't know that that's true, actually.
I think in
certain
I would
circumstances
hope
they
that we would be willing
absolutely
to do that.
Yeah.
Because
when
if
have
that
they?
were
When,
something,
Here's why they don't.
when has the government ever shot down a aircraft?
I don't know that it's happened. But,
I'm sure it happens, and they call them plane
but
crashes.
think about this further. Here's the thing.
Malaysia,
You know, and from what
somebody shot that down.
from what people who seem to be authoritative on this subject say,
Who are those people?
like ex-military people, from what people say, just hear what I say first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Excuse me.
Nothing
on
comes
the
into
podcast.
our
It's real,
airspace without us knowing about it, whether that's in the United States or over an embassy or military base or installation in another country. There is no
What are they doing up there? What do you think they're taking pictures? Are they surveying the land? Too. Are they looking for vulnerabilities?
There's no possible way that there are all of these reasonably substantial sized craft flying over the state of New Jersey for this amount of time, and the United States government does not know what they are. There is no
and the New Jersey government seems pretty concerned about it.
Yeah,
but their officials have come out and they're like, this is nonsense.
Well,
if these things are flying over the White House, people would take action.
You know who's not saying anything about it is the governor, because the governor probably has been briefed. I don't believe for one second that the United States government does not know exactly what these are, exactly why they're there.
Well,
and has not taken action.
I would appreciate some transparency.
Now, one of the leading theories that I have seen is that, and this makes some sense, but again, this is just idiots on the internet speculating.
And don't ever leave that out of the equation.
But if you do have all these drones and nothing is being done about it, right? That's weird in and of itself that nothing is happening. They're saying the reason they're doing it at night is they don't want people to see the technology and see the drones really close or get high-res pictures so that our adversaries see it, whatever. There is a belief that somewhere on the eastern seaboard, which is why you're seeing them further south, some type of nuclear device has made its way into the country, and these are radiation sniffing drones. And they're looking for something. Clearly, they're looking for something.
Let me ask you an ethical question that's tied to this. I want you to imagine you've gone to your doctor, okay? You've got some issues. The doctor does some tests and finds that you have a condition that is very serious. But the doctor also knows that if a person has intense anxiety, that it's going to make the condition even worse. It's going to be more likely to hurt them. So that technically, it may be in their physical best interest to actually not tell them what's wrong with them. But as their doctor, they have an ethical obligation.
We get the premise.
Oh, well, that's my question to you. In that situation, should the doctor tell the patient or not?
Yeah.
Oh, no. If it's going to be against the welfare of the patient, I wouldn't tell him. And remember this.
And you'd be okay with the doctor keeping you in the dark?
Remember when Dr. Fauci talked about masks?
Yes.
And he said, masks aren't going to help. And he eventually came out and said the reason we did that is not that masks wouldn't help, but that we needed the mask for the first responders. And so we didn't want everybody to buy up all the masks.
He lied to the public.
He lied to the public. Yeah, sometimes they lied to the public about the atomic bomb. They never said that.
No,
what's
this is
stupid?
my point.
They should have just bought a bunch of masks and then said to the public, wear masks.
Well, the fact
More
is,
than they could ever need.
But the point is, they didn't.
But it never seems to play out well when people choose to deceive, even if it's with good reason.
I think the doctor should tell you. Now, Stephen just said, do no harm. And so maybe ethically, the Hippocratic Oath would say, if you know this is going to harm the patient by telling them, maybe actually it's not unethical for the doctor to keep it to themselves.
I think it's an ethical dilemma.
I think we need to know more about the Hippocratic Oath.
But here's the problem. We now live in a country where no matter what you do, there's going to be a conspiracy theory arise about that will generally be rooted to a political point of view.
Yes.
And so
but
anything
that does come from a history of being lied to.
But we've been lied to forever. Sometimes it's in the government's and our best interest to lie about
the government has to. The government does not always
saying. If you know that you have a government that has to lie to you,
of course,
that has to.
We've
always had that, right? But if they have to lie to you, can you really fault the people if at some point you simply stop trusting them?
For sure.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you trust your father?
Do I trust my father?
Yeah.
Generally, I do.
Because do you think he's never lied to you?
I'm sure he has many times.
That's all I'm saying.
And he had to. And you've lied to your children, and I've lied to mine. And you have to. You don't have a choice about certain topics.
But this is more a symptom of the way we view each other and the way we view everything now. And that's largely because of the internet, because you can affirm any belief you have on the internet with something that makes it sound like whatever you just said is right.
But
I'm
going
just
back
saying,
to the drones for a minute, you seem very dismissive of the idea that there are these drones that are not
anytime
from
you
the
tell
public.
me, whenever,
what do you think is happening? What is your take
first of
on
all,
the whole thing?
I have seen drone shows in Asia.
Wait, come here. Special guest. We got a special guest on the podcast.
I told Tina
That's fine. The drone shows.
I have
are
seen the drone show.
This big.
I understand that.
This big.
But there's thousands of them.
Yeah.
There's never been any thousands of anything reported. All I'm saying, when I've seen these drones and I've seen what they look like at night and what they can do with them, it doesn't say, okay, some guy in New Jersey made 40 big drones.
No. It would take to create what is happening in New
They're
Jersey.
light shows. Did you ever see? Remember?
But it would take millions of them.
No, there's only they've been. My understanding, reading the articles, the most I've ever seen reported is 30 or 40 drones have been. There's never been a thing where 10,000 drones were seen.
No. That was in one place,
right?
But when there are 30 or 40 here, there are 30 or 40 here, there are 30 or 40.
Let's say there are
all
copycat.
Over.
Yeah, but let's say there's copycat. A guy hears they did.
Is that your theory? But if what do you think? Because if we go with Occam's razor,
yes.
What do you believe the most likely explanation is?
The most likely explanation, I think, is a group of people who either for
these are crop circles. You're saying?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, no. Well,
I don't believe is Occam's.
That's what he believes.
But just think
what do you
of the
believe
logistics.
is the most? What is your
you
Occam's?
believe
What do you believe is the most
rogue
likely?
Nuclear. I
don't.
hope you're wrong.
No. That part I don't know.
But
that part I don't know.
How the
Here's what I believe. Here's what I believe. There is a reason that our government is flying drones over that area. I don't know why they're doing it.
Do you remember the weather balloon?
Yeah.
Up in the Northwest?
Yeah.
There was one or two.
Yeah.
And it was days where they didn't know what it was, and they didn't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
Here's what I think. Well, they thought it was a balloon.
And there was only a couple.
But here's the deal. I think our ability, you think the government can go and 40 drones come over and they can just go up and shoot them down.
No, I never said that.
I think
Let me tell you, we don't have, with all the money we've spent, if we don't have the technological ability to do that.
I don't think
what
we
do.
do.
Oh, of course we do. But they're over.
I don't think you do.
Hold on. I could easily figure out a way to shoot down one of these drones myself.
Where's that Top Gun guy?
Hold on, let me wait, stop for a second. Stop. So these things are flying at low altitude. I think it would be very easy. The problem would be that they're over residential areas, and it's not shooting them down, it's the damage they would cause.
Exactly. That's why they don't shoot them down.
But my theory does not require them to be shot down, because I believe that there is no possible way there are this many unknown objects flying at low altitude over the massive area, massive population centers, and our government does not know exactly what they are. That is impossible for me to believe. So the only explanation is there's no way the government is going to let China or Iran or another government do this without saying something.
It has to be the U.S. government.
It has to be the U.S. government.
They're doing an experiment of some kind.
And they have technology, and I think we would all agree that they have technology well beyond what the general public has ever seen. I'm not saying it's alien technology, but they have experimental aircraft. And I believe that these are drones operated by the U.S. government. I have no idea why. It would appear as though they're looking for something. It could just be they're testing them out and can't say it, and it could just be an exercise.
It could be the most sophisticated peeping toms we've ever seen.
Very possible.
I could buy that. I don't have a problem. What I don't think is I don't think it's alien technology.
I don't think so.
B, I don't think it's a foreign adversary.
It's not some massive alien invasion.
It's not some great technology. We have the technology.
Yeah, we have
if it's technology we have here, there's no reason to believe it's alien technology.
Although, if you went back 3 years,
they say some of them are like orbs, and some of them are silent.
We have orbs.
But if you went back 3 years,
there's no propulsion system.
If you bought,
we got orbs.
One of the Chinese
no orbs.
Drone shows.
Yeah.
5 years ago, before we knew there were Chinese.
For sure.
If that came over Boston, and you had a giant Chinese dragon appear in the night sky,
yes, people would be freaked out.
You would think that now that's something. And that would be much more than we've seen. All I'm saying
you'd
is,
have to go back a little further, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah, we would be.
But the thing, the thing is
crazy.
that is not what we're seeing. Because
you're seeing some large
that
drones.
is an optical illusion, and it's not up close because you can't tell what it is. These are flying apparently at very low altitude, and people can see what they are. It's not. They're not way up in the sky.
No, they look like drones.
But big, but like
nothing. They look like bigger drones.
Nothing you can buy or.
Well,
I
think you can go out and buy a 4 or 5 foot drone.
Listen, we're not going to. That's not the size of an SUV. Talked this out. We're not coming up with anything.
Here's the
here.
question.
We got nothing groundbreaking.
Let's not stop.
I've got no. Let me ask you this question.
We can't even get agreement amongst the three of us.
How long do you think this will go on for? And do you think we'll ever get answers? Or do you think they'll just disappear as mysteriously as they arrive?
Everything that comes up, I tell myself this is the new normal.
You'll get it. Wait, where's my dog?
No, well,
he's with Steven.
She went outside with Steven and Tina.
I just assume this is all part of the new normal.
I think, unfortunately, honestly, that seems to happen.
And I'm not even joking. I think that we have been, ever since 9/11, just little by little, have been forced to just accept so many things as normal. I think that's just how it is. Dude, sometimes you're going to see drones in the sky and you're not going to know what they are, and it's just us taking pictures of your...
I don't know if it's related or unrelated
naked behind
to COVID and all the weird stuff that's happened, but it feels like there is, in my lifetime, there is before September 11th and there's after September 11th.
It's definitely one of those
the
things.
The whole world changed in every way.
Did you see what Joe Rogan, what did he say?
God, you love him.
There were two.
I like him
I
too.
really don't. I
don't watch his stand-up specials.
I don't like him. I don't like Elon Musk. No. I think these people are very dangerous.
Well, I think at a certain level of influence. Well, because at a certain level of influence, you are dangerous, even if you stand for good things.
Without a doubt.
But I don't think
it's just too much power for anybody to have.
Without a doubt.
And when you put him with Trump, who has all the reins, I think this is the most dangerous time we have ever had, certainly in my lifetime, and I think very likely ever.
Let me ask you this, since we're not on the topic, but we always like to do this. Grinding your gears.
Yeah.
You come up with anything this week that drives you crazy that you want to share?
When you said this before, there was something.
I have one that hit me earlier today that and that's the thing, is most of the things that bother me are so petty that you don't really have a chance to ever vocalize
They're transitory.
Oh, I got one.
Else.
Go ahead.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Well, here it is for mine. And I know we all have been there. You're on a long line, standing on a line.
Yeah.
Could be at the bank, could be at the grocery store, could be to get into a show, whatever. And the person in front of you doesn't move up when the opportunity to move up comes.
Yeah.
And I know logically, eventually they're going to move, and it's not going to technically cost us any time. I understand all of that intellectually, but I got to tell you, psychologically, you got to move your ass forward. I don't care if it's 3-4 feet. I'm standing on line. I need to feel the rush of progress.
Yeah, for sure.
I need to feel like something is happening that's going to move, even if it's just everybody getting a little bit closer together. As long as I'm moving forward, like I need that desperately in that moment. I'm hungry for it. And you get people that stand there like it's nothing. And they're on their phones.
Yeah, it's the Kantian moral imperative. What if everybody did that? The line would be 6 miles long. That's right.
Kantian?
Yeah, the categorical imperative. This is Immanuel Kant, whose philosophy on ethics was, if you want to know if an action that you're doing is an ethical one or not, you simply say to yourself, if every single person made this exact same choice that I'm making, would the world be better for it or worse for it? So that you can do that with anything. That's the principle. It's a categorical imperative.
Well, but nothing would be good if everybody did it pretty much.
That's not true. Let's say everybody
there's a lot
picked up a piece of litter every time they went outside.
No,
the world would be better.
There's some
everybody stopped smoking. Everybody stopped driving
But if
drunk.
everybody shoplifted one piece of gum, you think, one piece of gum, who cares? But if every person took a thing of gum, the gum industry would go bankrupt, and and we'd have no gum. So that's how that works. Is what if everybody did this?
Yeah.
Would we be okay? Now, though, it's a theory, and it does break down when you get more specific, because you could start getting into like
I'll tell
self-defense.
I'll tell you something I heard.
It's a philosophical.
I heard somebody say to me, which is a perfect comeback. He said he complained about something.
I know you are, but what am I?
No. He complained about something, but it was one of those things like our central air conditioner broke, or my Porsche, stick shift.
Oh, I
went
got
out.
it.
And the other guy said, "Boy, that's a real first world problem."
Oh, you've never heard that?
No, I have.
Yeah, I hear that a
His
lot.
response was,
Yeah.
but it's yet still a problem.
Yeah.
Which, frankly, I thought
I'm
was
living in the first
was
world.
the ideal comeback, because I always feel that people always take away.
Yeah, it's still
they
a problem.
devalue your problems just because they're not. They're not. I'm starving to death.
Now, see, what he should have said, and then there's no comeback, is he just says, cry more. And then what are you going to say?
No,
Will do.
I thought that was the perfect comeback.
It is. It's a problem nonetheless.
It's a problem to you. It's a problem.
I purchased something, which I will not reveal on this podcast.
Is it a gift
at
for
the
me?
moment. It is not.
Not a crying towel. That's
in many ways, it's a gift for all of us.
Ooh.
I'm wondering what that might be.
So I bought this item, and I'm lying in bed. It's like 11 o'clock. I get served up an ad. It's something I've been meaning to buy for a long time.
It's 11 p.m.
Yeah. And buy now, this special offer, not going to last.
Yep.
It's going to be over. Don't wait till tomorrow. It's going to be over, blah, blah. So I'm like, all right, it's enough of a savings. I should just do it now. And it was a little bit of a pain because there was some selection involved, and I did it. The next day, I find that they were telling the truth. The offer did not last forever. It did end at midnight.
It got better.
Yeah, the exact, not just better. I wouldn't have had a problem with like a different offer that was better. It was the exact same offer with giving you more.
Yeah. Well, that's
if
problem.
it was buy two, get
That's the
one
world
free,
we live
it
in.
was buy two, get two free. You know what I mean? It was, and I called him. I was like, I think that's really misleading. I want that other free item.
And?
I haven't heard back.
Oh, Jesus. Sir, we've solved your problem. You're not getting anything.
Yeah.
You're not even getting your money back.
Right.
Sure. No, that's funny.
Yeah.
No, but the idea today of that you can't trust anything.
You really
It
can't.
really is a problem. You know
what? You have to trust yourself.
Did you find that this was the first year that Black Friday was really nothing? It was a nothing.
It's been nothing. It's never been
It's been
anything.
petering down. But
For me, it's never
for
been
a wide
anything.
variety of reasons, and I think the likeliest reason being that people can price comparison on the internet, order whatever they want at any hour they want, and there's just simply no urgency for a Black Friday. But I felt like this year in particular, it didn't seem like, if you watch the news, there was no hot toy of the season. There's no
I feel like there
hard to
hasn't been a
find
hot toy of the year for a
thing.
long time.
It's been ever since there was like a new PS5 or a new Xbox years ago. Like there hasn't been a trending toy. Like this year just seemed like a nothing. Like it came and it went, and you didn't hear anybody do anything.
Yeah, I think, well, remember, Black Friday started before the real true rise of online shopping.
Of course.
And so people would get up early, you'd get these deals. And now, like for instance, with buying cars, when you see the price on the internet, that's generally the lowest price because they don't care. They're not trying to bring you into their store. They're just trying to have you buy that specific item you're looking for. So everyone sort of offers the lowest price they can offer at all times, mostly, except for these scammers who I got involved with.
Yeah, no, I just bought a SUV-sized drone.
Yeah.
On
Temu for $89.99.
Oh, on Temu is more like $8.99. What is it? Let me ask you this: how is Temu a thing? Like, I've not bought anything.
What's different than that and Etsy?
Oh, no. Etsy is a legitimate marketplace
makers.
for people, for craftspeople who sell their goods.
Emu is like...
Where you can buy things that normally would cost thousands for nickels.
It's like a very, very cheap Amazon. I will not...
But what is it? I mean,
I'll tell you what it is.
How could things be that cheap?
The worst goods made with the worst, most toxic materials by people under the age of 10.
I want it.
It is child labor. It is
now,
the
where
worst.
can I sign up?
It is horrible. I will not allow it.
How much can I save?
I won't let it in my house. I will not let anyone buy anything because it has to be.
Here's a tip that I've
worst.
learned. Any site that as soon as you tap on it, it immediately launches something that looks like a spinning wheel of fortune. You know you're in the middle of a scam. I get out immediately. I buy nothing.
It's not a scam. Like people, I've seen these
but when I see a spinning wheel, I run for the hills. People
will buy like electric motorcycles for $600, and they come in parts. But I think it's legitimate. I just think it is.
Oh, I got another one that bothers the hell out of me on that same topic.
Yeah.
Okay, I go to a website. All right, they've already got me there. Right, I'm clicking on the website. I'm curious to buy one of their wares. And in the first 5 seconds, the pop-up window comes up that says if I give you my email address, they're going to send me a coupon. I freaking hate that.
I do
Just
too.
let me on the site. I went on the site. I'm clearly there. I'm going to buy something. I'm shopping. Do not send up a goddamn pop-up asking me now you want more from me. I don't want to give you anything. I am here browsing. Do not pop up and interrupt my browsing. So when that happens now, I get the F off their site.
A lot of anger in this country.
This is what's worse.
Yes,
I don't know if you've seen this.
No, I've seen
when they give you essentially the version of that on the back end where you've already bought something and it is, hey, we would like to offer you this special thing. And sometimes it's not even stuff they sell. It's like, we'll give you a Chase credit card and give you $150 off. Or we will let you buy this, an extra thing on the site. And you'll have to click through like 10 things before your order goes through with additional offers from them or other merchants.
Now, Apple, are you listening? Here's a setting I want you to put on your phone. Here's a setting I want on there. I want a setting that says I can go on any website I want. I don't want to subscribe to their nonsense, so immediately take me out of subscribing to anything because you're ruining my life. And I want the ability to block that initial offer. If I go on, I just want to go on.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I want to be able to opt out. Don't bother me. I don't want to chat with you. I see the chat box. If I want to chat with you, I will chat with you. Don't pop up on my screen. Oh, I just noticed you were browsing around and I thought maybe you had a question. Yeah, that's invasive. I'm in bed. I'm probably naked. I don't want to be interrupted by anybody, even when I'm online shopping. When I'm in a store, right? If I need something, I'll seek out help. I don't want to be asked if I need help finding anything. I really don't.
Do you sleep naked?
I don't know if we should get that.
Typically, yes.
Why? What are people going to use that information?
It's just a little lowbrow.
I wonder if that's one of those identifying questions.
What percentage of the world do you think sleeps naked?
I think very high, but probably against their will. There's a lot of
they just can't afford pajamas.
Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you may have one outfit.
What percentage of the United States?
I was wearing
sleeps naked 5%.
My pajamas.
Yeah.
Bottoms.
Did you have your little sleeping cap on?
No, but somebody said you're wearing your pajamas out.
Yeah,
and I said no.
Oh yeah.
Because when I bought them, there was no top included.
The most ridiculous argument.
I got to tell you, I heard you make that case the other day. I found it very odd.
Well, let me ask you this.
Pajamas are a two-piece item.
So
are they?
So yes. Dress suits are sometimes sold as separates. You can buy the pants and you can buy the blazer. If you buy them separately, is it no longer a suit because you can buy the pants without a suit?
No, but you don't have a suit.
Wait, what does that have to do with the price of tea in
means.
China?
He's saying if you only buy half of a suit, do you have a suit? And I'm saying no, you don't. If you only buy the coat,
no. What I'm saying, you can buy the suit and the pants.
You can,
but by your logic, since they were sold
separate.
So you're saying
let's enlist the public.
This is ridiculous. If you're wearing pajama pants, it doesn't matter if they. I'll give you this.
They're lounging.
That's fine. Lounging in the house pants.
Never
it's
said.
It's like a
in
house
the house
coat.
is not part of the.
They're like slippers. They're meant to be
No.
worn in the house. We got to get out of this.
Well, listen, I think Goldie.
Oh, look, it's my
she knows
dog.
best.
We'll keep.
We're now
Hi,
3 lawyers
sweetheart.
and 1 beautiful pooch.
We're going
eating
to keep an eye on these
sandwiches.
drones.
Is he allowed to have a sandwich?
No.
No.
All right.
Damn.
Love
See,
you.
Goldie, this
Like,
is what
subscribe.
happens when you don't get
Bye.
to make the
Ring
rules.
the bell. Do all that
Do
you can see us.
something.
Yeah.
Should make
Take
a
some
fire.
action.
Let
Yeah.
us know you're out there.
Goldie, I
Well,
voted
maybe
for you
one
to
time
have
on the
sandwiches.
podcast,
I
I'll
voted yes.
make a fire with 2 sticks.
All
I'm
I know
convinced
is
I can
just
do it.
You ever?
Goodbye.
Just
Yeah.
remember, it was the Crouppens that didn't want you to have a sandwich.